yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Now this is our last Christmas ornament for our Christmas in July week. It's actually been about a week and a half. And this is also our Friday Fun Day project. It is a Christmas star. It measures about 8 inches. And it is stuffed just a little bit in the center. And we make it by making 2 stars and we put them together so it has a front and a back. And then of course we're going to put a hanger on it. That way if you want to hang it up on your tree, you can. Or you don't have to put the hanger and you can set it around for decorations. It can also be a nice fun gift for the kiddos. And I think it would be a lot of fun just to make a bunch of these up, maybe in different colors. And then if your grandkids or kids or just friends come over, they can grab the buttons and the beads and just have so much fun decorating one for themselves. And then they can take it home. Wouldn't that be a great party for, say, Girl Scouts or Sunday school class or just the kids in the neighborhood and, of course, the grandkids? It's a super easy star to whip up. It only has 5 rows. You make 4 rows and then the trim. Super easy, and it's made out of a super bulky number 6 yarn. And we'll talk more about yarn in just a minute. The best thing about this is that it's fun, but also super easy. And I like a project that turns out really great, that's fun and easy. I think you're really going to enjoy making some of these. Now you can find the complete pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. All right, let's talk yarn. Now the yarn that I used for my star is Premier Parfait Chunky, and the color is called Summer Squash. I call it bright yellow. I think it's perfect for the star. It is a bulky number 6 yarn. Okay, so this is fabulous yarn. You can find the link for my Premier affiliate link underneath this video if you want to go and order some of this beautiful parfait yarn. And it comes in lots of colors. They even have a polka dot one. I think they call it confetti. And you can make these stars in any colors that you want. Okay, you can also use any bulky 6 blanket yarn or regular bulky 6 yarn. And if you don't have a bulky number 6 yarn, you can make it out of a bulky 5. The star will come out just a little bit smaller. Or you can use 3 strands of a medium weight number 4 yarn, and it will come out about the same size. Just hold those 3 strands together. So there's lots of options for making this star. So you're going to need approximately 2 ounces of a bulky number 6 yarn. We're going to be stitching with our J-hook, which you don't normally use a J-hook on a bulky 6. But we want those stitches to be nice and tight and close together because we are going to put a little bit of stuffing right there in the center. So make sure you got just a handful of a polyester fiberfill stuffing. Okay? You'll need a needle and scissors. And one thing to remember is you're going to need a needle that you can get your beads or your needle through your beads, because we're going to be adding a few beads, whoopsie, to the top up here. And I'm going to be using these green and red ones in the star on this one, where I just used red and gold on this one. The type of beads are just your regular size pony beads. And then I found these star beads that I just had in my bead stash. And I have a big bucket of beads in my bead stash. You can use whatever beads that you want to, as long as you can get them on the yarn and get the needle through them. Okay? If you wanted to go with a smaller yarn for the tie, you certainly can, or maybe a ribbon. That's totally up to you. All right, now I have a set of safety eyes out here. That's because the one that I'm going to do for the demo today, I'm going to add safety eyes and a little smile. That way you can see how they can come out a little bit different as well. Okay, and I just added a flower on this one. This is a poinsettia button that I had. You can use whatever that you want to. You can add a star, I've got, you know, these are left over from my other projects, and any buttons that you want. These are some flat backs. If you get flat back ones, that means they don't have, oh, these are regular buttons. Where are the flat, oh, these are the flat backs. Sorry. The snowflakes are the flat backs, and you can decorate with those with no problem. Just remember, you're going to have to hot glue or E6000 those on. And these work really good if you're going to be doing decorating with the kids, because you can put a spot of glue on there and then let them set it on, and then you can wait for it to dry. That way they don't have to sew on buttons. But you can, even if it has the button loop, you can still put a dab of hot glue or E6000 and they can glue that button on as well. Some other things you can use is felties. You know, those little felt shapes, you can use those. Here's a couple other ornaments there. Lots of different things that you can add. There's also, oh, I forgot, I wanted to show you these eyes as well. If they want to put eyes on them, these are kinds, this one says adhesive, but I still glue them on. They can choose their own eyes. You can add the glue, and then they can put the button or the eye on the glue. All right, it's just some things, some options if you want to do this with the kiddos. I wanted to make something that is fun and easy to crochet up, but also that can be decorated in lots of different ways. So I want you to just have fun and use your imagination. We're going to need to make 2 stars with the first 4 rows. Then we'll put the 2 together. We'll stitch around the edges. We'll put just a small amount of stuffing in the center, and then we'll close it up. Okay? I've got one already made here, and I'm going to show you how to make the second one, and then we'll put them all together. Alrighty, so we're going to start in the center here. So we're going to make our slip knot. We're going to chain 5, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Join it into a circle. If you prefer to use the magic circle or another method here, you certainly can. We're going to tie that little stay knot so it doesn't come undone. Go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Our chain 3 counted as 1, and we stitched 2 more. And we're going to have to do this 4 more times. So I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to stitch 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And chain 1. We're going to push that around because we're going to have to fit 5 sets of these in there. There we go. And it is going to be snug. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. There we go. So I have 3 sets. I need to get 2 more in here. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and I keep pulling. You'll notice on this little tail of yarn here, you want to get that hole to stay closed. I probably should have made a longer tail on that. Alright, so a little more yarn out here, and we'll do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Chain 1, and then we'll join to that first, chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch in that next 2 double crochets. Get in there. Alright, lots more yarn here. Then we'll slip stitch in that chain 1 space and chain 3. Now my hole is nice and tight, but if it isn't, put that string back through there. You can pull on that string and tighten that up. Okay, fuzzball. We want to make sure that the center is closed. And we have 5 sets of 3 double crochet, chain 1. If it's not closed, get your needle and close up that center of that hole. So we have 5 sets of 3 double crochet, chain 1, and you can see how tight that is. That's why we're using the J hook to try to make sure that that star is stitched in nice and snug. All right, so we've slip stitched to the chain 1 space. Yarn back in that container there. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space because the chain 3 counted us 1, so we stitched 2 more. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to stitch 3 more right in that same chain 1 space. 1, 2, oops, and that will happen because we're using a smaller hook, so you might have it, jump off your hook on you. All right, so we have our chain 3 plus 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. That makes 1 corner. So we're going to do this 4 more times. We're going to go right over here to our next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, 1, 2, and 3. So now we have 2 corners, okay? And we're going to do that in these next 3 chain 1 spaces. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. Whoops. Now we are not chaining 1 between our groups either. We're not chaining 1. We're going right to that next chain 1 space. Three double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. Oops. 1, 2, and 3. All right, then we got 1 more corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Oops. It keeps wanting to jump off my hook. There's 2 and 3. All righty. All right, so we're going to join to our chain 3. We'll slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets, slip stitch in the chain 1 space, and chain 3. And you can see how it already has that pentagon shape with 5 sides and 5 points. All right, so in this first chain 1 space, we're going to stitch 2 more double crochets because our chain 3 counted as 1. We'll chain 1 and then 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space. 1, 2, and 3. Now what we're going to do is in this space between these corners, we're going to stitch a single crochet. Now we'll go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So our corners or our points are the same. 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. But what we're adding is a single crochet in between those groups. And that's going to make it come down so it looks more like a star. All right. So then we'll go right to that next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets. And then we'll single crochet in that space between. And then we'll repeat that on these last 2 sides and join to our chain 3. So I have completed that around, and you can see how putting that single crochet in there, how it pulls in those inside corners of our star. All right, so here's my last single crochet in that space. I'm going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 1. And so what we're going to do on our 4th row is start to form those points a little bit better. All right, so we're going to single crochet in those next 2 double crochets. All right, that brings us to our chain 1 space. We're going to single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in that chain 1 space. Okay, now we're going to single crochet in those 3 double crochets. Then we'll single crochet in the single crochet. Now we'll do the next one. We'll single crochet in those 3 double crochets. That brings us to our chain 1 space. And so we'll single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet. Then we'll single crochet in those 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and then single crochet in that single crochet. Now you might notice that it's going to curl in just a little bit. It's okay. When we put the trim on there, that's going to help that stand out. All right, so if it curls in just a little, just flatten it out. It's no problem. That's kind of the nature of this stitch, as well as the nature of how we're stitching it, because we're using a much smaller hook in order to pull it in tightly. Okay? All right, so we'll single crochet in the next 3 double crochets. That brings us to our chain 1 space, and we'll single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in that chain 1 space. Then we'll single crochet in those 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then single crochet in the single crochet. All right, see how it makes those points more pointy, if that's a word. All right, and we'll just repeat this on these last 2 sides and join back to our first single crochet. I have completed my second star. This is the first one. We tied it off. On the second one, we're going to leave our yarn attached, because we're going to put them together, right sides out, and we're going to begin stitching them together. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch around to about here, then we're going to put that little bit of stuffing inside, and then we'll finish and close it up. All right, so we joined to our first single crochet. So we're going to go in that single crochet here and here, and we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in those first 4 single crochets. So there's 2, 3, and there we go, a little bit snug. And that's again because we're stitching with a smaller hook. All right, so there's 4. That brings us to the chain 1 space on both sides. So we're going to go in that chain 1 space. We're going to stitch a single crochet. And now we're going to make that picot stitch. And we do that by chaining 3. Then we slip stitch in the top of that single crochet. There we go. And now we're going to single crochet in that same stitch. And that makes that little bump on the top of our corner. All right. Now we're going to single crochet in all the single crochet stitches till we reach that next chain 1 space. And of course, that's going to be on the other corner, or the next corner, because we have 5 corners on our star. Okay, one more. There we go. There. Keeps getting hooked up, but that's okay because, you know, we're using a smaller hook, like I said. All right, so we're going to go in that chain 1 space. We're going to single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and then single crochet in that chain 1 space. And see how that works? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in each of the single crochets to the next point. 1, 3, there we go. Make sure everything stays nice and lined up. All right, let's see. Got one more. There we go. Now we're at our chain 1 space, and we'll do that again. Single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in our single crochet, and then single crochet in that chain 1 space again. All right, and see how that's looking like a star. These little points just exaggerate the starriness of it. Alrighty, so I'm going to do this around here to here, and then I'm going to show you how to add a little stuffing in the center and then finish it up. I have stitched all the way around except this last section. You can see my little picot stitches make it really look starry. This is where, if you're going to use safety eyes, you want to go ahead and put those in. And again, make sure you put them in a stitch and not in between a stitch, or they will not hold on, okay? So I've already got one on. I'm popping on the second one because I'm putting a smile on this one, or a face. All right, and I use these cat eyes. I think they're hilarious. He looks a little bit angry, doesn't he? All right, so now we're going to take just a little wad of polyester fiber fill, just a handful, and we're just going to put it like right in the center. We don't want to stuff the whole star. We just want it to be a little bit puffy, okay? And that's why we put it right there in the center. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and close up this side, and then I'll show you how to do the rest of the decorating. All right, so I finished single crocheting where we started. We're going to join to that first single crochet, cut our yarn. We're going to tie that off to the back. Now, you can decorate the front and the back of your star if you want to. I just haven't decorated the back. I figure it's going to be hanging in the tree. So I'm just going to decorate the front. So on my first star, I made the loop and attached it here. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I discovered a more easier way that I want to do it. So I put about a 12-inch piece of matching yarn. You could use thin ribbon if you wanted to, or even a different color yarn, or maybe even a different type of fiber. It's up to you. Okay, so this is the top. So we're going to go right in that first star point, and we're just going to do this, make a loop. And see, now it's connected on there, and we don't have to make a knot. Where on this one, I ended up, you know, sewing it on and making a little bit of a knot. It looks okay, but I think this looks neater. Okay? I'm going to make a knot here because I don't want my beads to go too far down. So I'm just going to go through it like this and sort of push that down I just want it to be nice and secure. All right, so now I'm going to put my beads on, and I'm going to do a green one, and then this red one, and a green. I'm going to put a second green, then I'm going to put my star. And we'll push those down. Came unthreaded, that's okay. And then I want to put that one last green bead on there. So I'm going to put my yarn back on my needle. And the easiest way to thread a needle when it's like this is to fold that yarn over the end, and then you can squish it in there. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab that last green bead. There we go. This way I can make a knot. That'll keep those down there, and I'm just gently pulling on that because I want that knot to be kind of nice sized. There we go. And then in order to make the loop at the top, I'll just make another knot up here at the top. And then I'll trim it. All right, so you can do it either way. You can do the loop at the top and sew it on with your needle here, or you can loop it like I did and just loop it like this. Both ways work just fine. I like them both. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, since I made a face, because I've got eyeballs on here, is I'm going to make a fun little smile. And I'm going to go right in that center and just make a V. Because my star's looking a little bit angry with those green eyes, so I want to make sure we know he is not an angry star. He still looks a little bit angry. It's okay. I love him anyway. And I'm just going to go right out the back. And I'm going to take my crochet hook in and pull that in from underneath. There we go. I just love it. It's so funny. So cute. All right, let me weave my ends in from my red, and then we'll sew on some buttons. I decided to just use my candy canes again. So I sewed one on here, but I want to put another one up there. I think it'd be cute just to be right up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through those stitches there. And I like to make a loop. It just helps the yarn not come out. Okay, and then I'll just... And I did have to go with a smaller needle. The needle I was using was too big to go through the back of my candy cane. All right, so I'm going to go like that. There we go. And I'm going to go through it again. All righty. Then I'm just going to take these two. And again, you don't have to use the same yarn. You can use matching yarn that's thinner, or you can, like if you're sewing on something red, use red, you know, just whatever that you want to do. All right, and I'm just going to weave these in back here with my crochet hook and clip them. And like I said, you can also use an E6000 or a hot glue, especially if you're doing this as a group project. You can always put the dab of glue and then let the person put, like they'll say, oh, I want to put a candy cane over here. Put a little dab of glue, then they can pick it up and set it on there. Just watch real close if you're using hot glue. But for that type of thing, I really like to use E6000. It takes a little bit more time to dry, but you don't have to worry about burning anybody's hands, especially the littles. So now I have two stuffy stars that are ready to decorate for Christmas. Now, everybody can have a star. You can make one for everybody because they stitch up super fast. It takes just a tiny bit of stuffing and a few decorations. And again, you can get felties and lots of other things to decorate your stars with. And one other thing that you can do is once everybody's done, you can take them out like on the back patio or out on the grass or someplace where you have a little bit of space, lay out some paper and spray them with some glitter spray. It'll help them hold their shape and it'll give them a touch of sparkle. I need to grab my glitter spray. I don't even know where I put it. Well, this is our fun, stuffy Christmas star. I just love them.